New technologies in airy silkworm rearing and quality cocoon production. Silk is known as the queen of fabrics. Silk is a commodity of pride in every household in India as well as all over the world. In addition to mulberry silk, there are few other varieties of silk which are equally attractive. They are collectively termed as one-year silks, comprising of tropical tesser, temperate tesser, muga, and airy silks. Also known as non-mulberry or wild silks, these silks represent India's rich culture and tradition. Among them, airy is becoming most popular and hence named as silk of the century. Airy, also known as Endi, is produced by the airy silkworm Philosamia ricini, feeding mainly on the leaves of castor and caseru plants. Unlike other varieties, airy cocoons do not have continuous filament and hence are spun. Traditionally, airy culture has been confined to the northeastern states. The states of Assam, Nagaland, Meghalaya and Manipur account for nearly 98% of airy silk produced in the country, while it is also produced in small quantities in Bihar, Orissa and West Bengal. Northeastern states in particular are popular for airy silk production. In this region, plenty of perennial airy food plants are available in nature. Payam, Caseru, Ailanthus, temple tree, castor and tapioca are the important food plants besides many other food plants. Airy silkworms producing white cocoons and red cocoons are reared domestically, while wild airy silkworm varieties are also available in the forests of northeastern region. Northeastern region is also rich and has a distinctive cultural heritage, and it is popular for its vibrant diversity. Northeastern region has witnessed the spinning and weaving of airy as an age-old practice. This region holds vast reservoir of skill, talent and artistry in weaving. Airy products have thermal properties for which they are used from a newborn baby to the old folks. The sole magic behind the production of irresistible and fabulous airy silk are the healthy worms. Only healthy and quality silkworm seeds can make this possible. Central Silk Board has established airy silkworm seed production centers in various parts of the country, including ESSPC Hosur. Primarily, the CSB buys suitable seed cocoons from farmers after confirming disease freeness of the lot through pupil test and proper assessment of cocoons. Then, the cocoons are stored in grainages and proper temperature and humidity is maintained. The whole process of grainage activities are conducted under the guidance of experts to achieve quality in seed production.
We are getting the seed cocoons from selected farmers, and we are doing grainage activities at ESSPC Hosur by maintaining temperature, humidity, preparing the quality airy silkworm seed, and also we are airlifting them to the northern states and also meeting the demands in southern states also.
The moths emerge after 17 to 18 days of pupation in summer and 25 to 30 days in winter. After few hours of emergence, coupling of male and female moths begin. After 8 to 9 hours of pairing, the moths will be depaired. For further pairing, the male moths are preserved separately and carefully. The gravid female moths are placed on coricas for egg laying. These coricas are hung systematically to facilitate smooth egg laying. In this process, temperature of 22 to 24 degrees Celsius and humidity of 75% should be maintained. Satisfactory egg laying takes place after the required conditions are ensured. After 3 days of egg laying, the female moths are subjected to microscopic examination for detection of peregrine disease. The examination reports are recorded. Disease-free layings are collected and washed in 2% formalin solution, followed by washing in running water. Then the eggs are dried in shade by spreading in single layer. Thereafter, the eggs are transported to various destinations as per the requirement and the indents. The tribals are practicing airy silkworm rearing in their own dwelling houses using locally available low-cost materials, mostly made of bamboos. The castor leaves are tied together as a bunch and the same is hung in equal proportion on a long bamboo stick which is tied in 2 to 3 rows. Late-age worms are transferred on these bunches for feeding. To ensure healthy growth of worms, proper hygienic condition has to be maintained by resorting to regular bed cleaning of excreta and litter of the worms. In addition, the dead and deceased worms are collected periodically without damaging the healthy worms. And the same is dumped and burnt in a pit away from the rearing site as a prophylactic measure. To ensure successful rearing, farmers have systematic plantation of airy food plants in respective backyards. Proper selection of ripe worms prior to spinning is very essential for a good cocoon crop yield. When the worms are mature and ready for spinning, its body becomes translucent and worms stop eating leaves. When the matured worms are rubbed between fingers close to the ear, it produces a hollow sound. The collected matured worms are mounted on bunches of dry banana leaves or same kind of any other locally available material for spinning of cocoons. After 2 to 3 days of mounting in summer and 4 to 5 days in winter, the cocoons are harvested and preserved in trays. At the time of spinning, the worms are not disturbed and proper hygiene is maintained for increasing the yield and cocoon quality. On the second or third day of cocoon formation, the prepupae are removed from cocoons by stretching the soft and open end of the cocoons. Most of the farmers consume these proteinaceous pupae as food. The Central Silk Board has assisted these farmers for construction of rearing and grainage house and providing appliances under Special Catalytic Development Program. The Central Silk Board has established Central Muga Eri Research and Training Institute at Ladoighar, Jorhat, Assam for research and developments of Muga and Eri culture. The Central Silk Board also conducts various training programs for farmers. This is helping them to learn improved techniques on various aspects of agriculture. In these training programs, farmers are informed about different varieties of Eri silkworms and cocoons. In addition, field training programs and demonstrations are also conducted to educate them about harvesting of leaves and relevant technical aspects. Under the main and regional research stations of Central Silk Board, continuous rearing of Eri silkworm is conducted with improved techniques. Eri silkworms are reared in wooden as well as bamboo trays. To ensure uniform hatching, black boxing of silkworm eggs should be done. After hatching, the young worms are separated by brushing with extreme care. Molting period of Eri silkworms in different stages are: first molt 17 to 20 hours, second molt 18 to 19 hours, third molt 14 to 16 hours, and fourth molt 18 to 24 hours. However, during winter, the molting duration lasts for 36 to 42 hours. In the second stage, worms are slightly bigger in size, yellowish in color, and the stage lasts for 3 to 4 days. One bed cleaning is required before the onset of molting. A fresh paraffin paper with wet foam pad is provided on rearing tray and worms are transferred carefully. The leftover litter and excreta should be disposed of. Semi-mature and fresh leaves are to be fed. During third stage, worms become whitish in color with distinct larval marking patterns. Semi-mature, fresh and succulent leaves are to be fed to ensure healthy growth of worms for production of better quality cocoons. During fourth and fifth stages, the worms become bigger in size with increased weight of the larva, each weighing about 9 to 10 grams. Worms eat voraciously, consuming about 85 to 94% of the total quantity of foliage. Since worms consume more leaves during these stages, farmers should ensure continuous supply of quality foliage by raising systematic plantation of castor, tapioca and keseru. Optimum density of worms per tray of 3 feet by 3 feet size. First stage 10,000 worms, second stage 3,000 worms, third stage 1,200 worms, fourth stage 600 worms, and fifth stage 300 worms. Only fresh and succulent leaves should be fed to the eyrie worms. For healthy growth of worms, the optimum temperature of 26 to 28 degrees Celsius with relative humidity of 80 to 85% should be maintained. Maintaining optimum density of worms guarantees a good crop. After maturation, worms stop eating leaves. As soon as the symptoms of ripening appear, worms should be picked up for mounting. Dried banana leaves can be used as mounting material. Ripe worms start spinning cocoons and complete within 2 to 3 days. For commercial rearing, improved mountages like bamboo chandrike, collapsible plastic mountages may also be used. Now, cocoon formation is completed. Farmers generally harvest cocoons on second or third day of spinning to remove pupae. Unripe worms should not be selected for mounting. The Central Silk Board established the Central Eyrie Research and Training Institute at Mendipatthar, Meghalaya during early 80s. This institute is presently functioning as a regional eyrie research station and maintaining various eyrie food plants along with silkworm ecoraces and strains. The leaves of pium, the perennial tree, is suitable for eyrie worm rearing. It's grown extensively in Nagaland and surrounding areas. Leaves of temple tree, known as gulancha, is also used as secondary eyrie food plant, particularly during July to September when there is a shortage of castor leaves. Ailanthus, known as bar keseru, is another secondary food plant for eyrie silkworms. Castor, locally known as Ira, is the primary food plant which is succulent and nutritive. The best quality of cocoons and yarn are produced when eyrie worms are fed on castor leaves. During the initial stages, tender castor leaves are fed to worms in small pieces which help them to crawl and eat. Tapioca, also known as cassava, is an important secondary eyrie food plant. Leaves of keseru, the perennial tree, is another primary food plant of eyrie silkworms which is extensively used for eyrie rearing in northeastern states. Farmers have to harvest leaves preferably in cooler hours of the day, particularly during morning and evening hours. Leaves are to be collected as per the stage of the worms, and excess leaves should not be collected and wasted. Before entering the rearing house, farmers should step on the footmat already filled with lime and bleaching powder as a hygienic measure. Leaves should be washed and preserved in cool place by covering with wet cloth. While feeding to worms, farmers should be able to differentiate between healthy and diseased leaves. This will help in uniform growth of worms and assure harvesting of good crop. Eyrie silkworms are more hardy than mulberry silkworms and can be reared with least investment. Harvest only 25 to 30% of foliage for rearing when castor and tapioca are raised for seed and tuber production purposes. Proper maintenance of temperature and humidity, disinfection, hygienic conditions and feeding of fresh, succulent and nutritive leaves will lead to successful cocoon crop. In case of brick red variety of cocoon, the same measures are to be ensured. Disinfection outside the rearing and grainage house will avoid contamination. Erie silkworms are less susceptible to diseases as compared to mulberry silkworms. Hence, crops are more assured with least investment as agriculture involves use of low-cost local materials. There is vast potential for development of agriculture in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, where castor and tapioca plantations are raised for oil seeds and tuber production. Farmers can successfully utilize 25 to 30% of castor and tapioca leaves for additional income through Erie silkworm rearing. Agriculture helps for additional employment for tribals and marginal farmers. In South India, the castor grows rapidly on its own and it can be found in vacant places and also on the roadsides. Since the climatic conditions are favorable, castor and tapioca are grown extensively. Varieties of agricultural and horticultural crops are also grown along with Erie food plants. This helps farmers to earn additional income. In this regard, a few state governments have established service centers to help the farmers. The best quality as well as the variety of seeds are supplied to the farmers with proper guidance, packages and package of practices for improving productivity. As a result, farmers are able to grow healthy and suitable Erie food plants under the guidance of scientists. For young and late-age worms, farmers have to adopt disinfection measures both under traditional and improved methods. This ensures a successful crop. Based on the age of the worms, the leaves have to be fed. The tender, succulent and glossy leaves have to be fed to newly hatched and first stage worms. Semi-mature leaves for second and third stage. Mature leaves for fourth and fifth stage worms. After harvesting, leaves should be preserved under hygienic condition and the same should be fed to the worms afresh. Stage-wise consumption of leaf for 100 disease-free layings is: in the first stage 3 kg, second stage 13 kg, third stage 50 kg, fourth stage 135 kg, and in the fifth stage 900 kg. After the fifth stage, the matured worms have to be picked and collected for mounting. Region-wise locally available materials can be used as mounting material for mature Erie silkworms. Farmers should ensure that the density of worms be optimum and the mounted worms are protected from rats and ants. All these measures lead to a good crop. Let's listen to a few Erie farmers on their success stories.
దుంపాకు వల్ల 23 అండి, దుంప వల్ల 17,000 వచ్చిందండి. రాష్ట్ర స్థాయిలో అవార్డు ఇచ్చారండి.
దీనివల్ల మాకు సంవత్సరానికి 10 నుంచి 12,000 వరకు వస్తుందండి. 2 నుంచి 3 పంటలు తీస్తామండి మేము ఆకుంటే. దీనివల్ల పెద్ద కష్టపడి ఇదేం లేదండి, ఇంటి దగ్గర ఆడవాళ్ళు హ్యాపీగా తీసుకోవచ్చండి ఈ పంట. దాని గురించి అని మేము చేస్తున్నామండి. ఇది డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఉన్నంత వరకు మేము ఈ పంట తీస్తామండి. సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్, స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ కూడా చాలా బాగా మాకు చెప్పారండి దీని గురించి. వాళ్ళ సహకారం మాకు ఉంటే ఇది మేము చేయగలమండి.
Investment and returns from Erie silkworm rearing for a farmer with half an acre. Total input cost 800 rupees. Gross return excluding family labor 6,500 rupees. Net return 5,700 rupees over a crop period of 22 to 28 days. The production of Erie silk gradually increased from 85 metric tons in 1950-51 to 1,500 metric tons during 2006-2007, registering more than 16-fold increase. At the time of harvest, good quality cocoons should be sorted out for commercial purpose. For effective utilization as well as to promote pupa as food, the departmental experts demonstrate to the farmers the removal of pupae from the cocoons. There are innumerable success stories highlighting benefits of Erie to the farmers throughout the country.
ಔಡ್ಲನ್ನ ಸಜ್ಜೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಡಲೆಕಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಉಳ್ಳಿ ನವಣೆ ಏನಿದ್ರೆ ಅಕ್ಕಡಿ ಸುತ್ತೂರ ಮೇರಿಗೂ ನಡಿವೆ ಅಕ್ಕಡಿನೂ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಹಾಕಿ 3 ತಿಂಗಳು ತುಂಬಿ 4ನೇ ತಿಂಗಳು ಸರ್. ಹುಳು ಚಾಕಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು 2ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗೆ ಚಾಕಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಚಾಕಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ 5ನೇ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಎದ್ದು ಮೇಯ್ತೈತೆ ಸರ್, ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ.
Erie silkworms are hardy and can be profitably reared even in the huts under humid and rain-fed conditions, providing additional income to poor, small and marginal farmers on a sustainable basis. Central Silk Board, in collaboration with Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, Hyderabad, is conducting research and studies on diversified usage of Erie pupae.
Silkworm, it's a big industry, particularly Erie is really coming up now. This pupae is rich in proteins and oil. So that is the reason now the Indian Institute of Chemical Technology looked into this particular aspect and tried to develop a process for the extraction of oil with the financial funding of the Central Silk Board. When you extract from this particular pupae, see, look at this, is very black in color. When you refine it, we get golden yellow color of oil, which is very rich in some nutraceutical fatty acids. The main purpose of this particular project IICT and Central Silk Board has taken up to strengthen the farmers, the financial health. So that is the reason both Central Silk Board and IICT strongly recommend to include this particular food in both health and nutritional programs of both state and central governments. In IICT studies with the help of Central Silk Board, we have